Welcome to the Hidden Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Homer Hargrove, and today we're going to be talking about how to prepare for your first opportunities when it comes to leadership, ministry, and etc. And in this episode, I'm going to give you 3 takeaways at the end to be able to help you directly apply what we talk about in your own leadership. And every week we come out with a new podcast episode to be able to help you tap into your hidden potential in your leadership and your organization. We do that with practical and mental tools that you're able to directly apply. So all that being said, let's get started. And that is with the simple idea how so many of us as we are yearning or in the stages of maybe early leadership are yearning for those opportunities. Maybe you're even a seasoned leader, but you're waiting for an opportunity for your next level. Today, we're really going to unpack the preparedness and concepts that we should hold dear so that we could best make use of those opportunities once they come to us. So I'm going to kind of go into 3 different directions. The first direction is to take as much responsibility as possible. Say you finally get noticed or you get your shot at something. Maybe it's not even the thing that you're really wanting, but it's a step in that direction. You should do your best to answer all possible questions before even asking a question. It doesn't mean that you don't ever ask a question, but listen to what I'm saying. You want to take as much responsibility as possible and show whoever is giving you the opportunity that you are taking it seriously. Even if you, after trying to answer those questions, you could even run it by that person while you would normally at first ask a question. Now you're saying, so for this role, I perceive that I should be ready for this, or I should also do this or that. And then they will be able to respect that you took the time to critically think and have a level of competence that all that comes within the role that or the opportunity that they're giving to you. You will surely impress them by answering the questions before you ask them. And if there's any places that there is a misunderstanding and confusion, they'd gladly help redirect you in the right direction or give you the better answer they're looking for. But you're showing a sense of initiative. And when it comes to people giving opportunities, that whoever has, whether it's an authority figure that's possible promotion, or even an event planner, that asked you to come help host an event or speak at an event, you are showing such great initiative by taking responsibility of things before you ever have to ask them. Another vein in this is to offer more than what was asked of you. If you were only asked to go and share a message, I would advise going early and asking if they need any other help setting up, or staying behind and asking if they need any help with tearing down. The idea of offering more than what is asked. And again, it's this idea of taking this maximized level of responsibility and giving your very best to where the people who gave you the opportunity are thinking, wow, they gave so much more than I asked. And they're leaving this positive nature about you and how you do work to where they are most likely going to either ask you again or give you a greater opportunity down the line. Now, one more thing about taking as much responsibility as possible, make it as easy as possible for the person who is giving you the chance. Rather than just look about this. Imagine the person who, say, is planning an event. And one of the things on their list of things to do was to say, get a speaker for the event or get somebody for whatever it is that you're getting an opportunity for. But let's just say speaker. And they still have to plan vendors. They still have to plan setup, chairs, tables, people who are going to volunteer. There's so many different details that come in with planning an event per se. And the reason that they're asking you in the first place is to shoulder someone else with responsibility so that they're not doing everything. So they don't want to speak at the event because they're already doing these other things. They're trying to manage it. And if you then take that role and then start asking them so many extra questions, which maybe it's in your nature good that you want to make sure that you get the opportunity right, but you are unwittingly putting more burden back on their shoulders when they're trying to get rid of it. And so you doing the opposite of answering the questions before they're asked, showing up early to help them with whatever extra might need to be done, and you simply making it as easy as possible to where you do the job and you did it so well, but you made their job easier in the process. You are so much more likely to get booked again, to where they're not having to check in on you. They're not having to make sure that you're doing the task, but you're going above and beyond. And you are showing that you are a responsible person who is competent with the opportunity that was given to them. Now, here's the second direction I want us to look at. Prepare as much as you can. So we talked about making it easy for the person who gave you the chance, and to where you are literally an answered prayer for them. You are a blessing, and you've built so much rapport because of the responsibility you've taken. All of that might just be meaningless if you didn't actually prepare for what it is you are asked to do. You need to take it seriously, and don't you dare wing it. Don't just think, oh, I'll figure it out once I get there. I got what it takes. You should assume that this is something that is serious, and even if you've done it before, you need to take extra time to critically think and prepare for it. Don't write it off as something meaningless. Even if maybe the opportunity is not as much as you wanted. Maybe you were wanting an opportunity that was greater, but you got the smaller opportunity and you're almost bummed out about it. Do not take it lightly. Because if you show good effort and be a good steward with this small opportunity, then who knows, maybe this event planner or the person that gave you the chance is going to be so impressed with you taking it seriously, even though it was small, that they're going to share that same story report to somebody else who might have the bigger opportunity. You are building credibility with yourself, no matter how big or small. So take it seriously. As far as practical things, depending on the nature of what you're getting an opportunity to do, you need to practice, make notes, do whatever you got to do. Even if it involves the idea of role playing, you should take it seriously. I'll give an example for me. When I first started getting the opportunities to speak, it was I remember getting the opportunity to do hosting at a church, and that was doing things like the welcome, the offering call, announcements, and at first glance, it may not seem like this big ticket item. I'm not doing this full message. I'm just sharing information. But I took that role very seriously, to where I would practice. I would do role play scenarios. I would run through the whole thing in my head or even audibly. And even down to little things, to where even though they gave me, say, a sheet that had all the things, I actually transferred it all over and hand wrote it on a card, because I thought it would look nicer to be on this little card instead of this whole paper, and that would look more professional. Even when it was texted to me, if it was on the phone, I would transfer it over to a card, because I thought it looked more professional reading from a card rather than my phone. And it's these little things that I took seriously that continue to elevate my public speaking, as well as other things, to where it continued to transfer over into great rapport. Even with the messages I do on Sunday, there's times where I'll do a full run through of the message and audibly voice it, act like I'm speaking to a crowd, and even record myself and play it back so that I have this message just on lock. I want it to flow. I don't want to stumble once I'm right in front of people. I want to make sure that I know it. And yes, there's times where if you overthink it, you might mess up. But the idea is, when you practice and actually role play through situations like that, you're really being able to feel it out. You're not trusting on luck or that you're going to just have the right things to say. You're really practicing stewardship when you take it seriously like that. Another thing is the idea of practicing. You should really, especially if it's your first opportunity, you want to be able to bring your best, to where whoever asked you is getting back more than they expected. Maybe they just asked you to do this and they thought you were going to do an all right job. But if you really impress them, you are being faithful with little, and you will be trusted with much. As a leader myself, where there's been multiple times where I've had to entrust other people or gave other people opportunities, there's certain people that rose to the top, not because they were more talented, but I thought that they were so much more mature at preparing for the role than even the person that it may have came more natural to. I could distinctly tell the difference between someone who practiced what what was asked of them before they got there, and someone who winged it. And even if the person who winged it seemed like they were more talented than the person who has practiced, I would choose the person who practiced because I would recognize that they took it seriously. And I want somebody, if I'm ever going to trust anybody with anything, I want it people who I can trust to take the roles seriously, to take the opportunities seriously. So again, prepare as much as you can. Today's episode is brought to you by my new book, Feed My Sheep, a 90-day devotional, is out now. You can order it either on my website, homerhargrove.com, or you can order it on Amazon. And if you do, please leave a rating and review letting me know what you think about the book. It really would mean a lot to me, and it really helps support this channel. Again, that is Feed My Sheep. That being said, let's get back to today's episode. And finally, the third direction I want us to talk about is to express gratitude and even ask for feedback. Now, this is the idea of showing extra appreciation and knowing that it stands out, especially if it's an opportunity where multiple people are asked and you happen to be one in the midst. Don't you think that they will be more impressed with the person who wrote them a thank you card out of all the people that were asked compared to the people who never said thank you or showed any appreciation? It's this idea of building rapport. And if you show that kind of appreciation after the fact, they're more than likely going to ask you back again or give you another opportunity, whatever way it is, because you're building this grateful rapport that makes them feel good. And you're showing them that you appreciate their time and their efforts and even thinking about you. Another idea is to ask for feedback on how they felt about your involvement and what you could have done better, if anything. Now, this might be particular according to what kind of opportunity that you're getting, but say you're given a position to where you're now in charge of a new youth group, and maybe you're not asking for feedback about how well the message was, but it's been a couple months that you've been building up your youth group, trying to set up a structure and systems, and then you can go back and say, hey, this is where we're at with the youth group. I've been implementing this, I've been doing that. I wanted to ask if this is what you were expecting, if you think it's that my involvement has been productive or effective or good, or if there's something that I'm missing that I didn't realize that you'd like me to do better. And it's this idea of getting constructive criticism so where the event planner, the organizer, the person that gave you an opportunity is not holding any reservations, but even if you ask for the insight, like, hey, I don't want to burden you, or put more on your plate, but I just want you to know that I took this really seriously. And if there's anything that I haven't done that you thought I was going to do, and anything that you'd like me to do differently or better, I just want you to know that I'm open for feedback, and I want to do a good job to where you can continue to appreciate what's happening, and however you say it. But the idea of involving them, and not only do they again build rapport with them, but it helps you to grow as a leader, to where there might be something that you said or did. They're like, oh, well, some people in the audience, when you spoke, we actually have a lot of people that are this or that, and I think that might not have settled with them. And you're able to go, oh, I didn't realize. Whenever there's another opportunity, I'll be sure to consider that and have that in mind when preparing the message, or however it fits out. One last thing, ask for a review or a referral when applicable. So many of y'all who follow me, you'll notice that I on my social media, on my website, I have reviews of people who have heard me speak, who have asked me to speak, and they're sharing their positive feedback. And I'm able to not only use that for promotion, but even build credibility when it comes to the next opportunity. There's times as you grow as a leader where someone might approach you and say, hey, have you ever done something like this? And you could say, oh, yes, I have, or I did something like that, or I've not done something like that, but this is the last thing that I worked on, and this is what they had to say. And it gives this credibility that makes the next opportunity that much more smoother. Or even a referral, asking someone like, hey, did you appreciate the talk? Did you like how it went? Do you like me running this department, etc.? And when the feedback is good, you can say, is there anyone else that you would be able to refer me to that would also appreciate this kind of service or this kind of leadership, this kind of talk, etc.? And that is how you start building a network to where they can say, you know what, I actually know a friend that's going to be starting another group and you'd be perfect for it. Or I know someone that's going to blah, 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 blah. And the point is you are now positioning yourself more in front of those opportunities instead of just waiting and hoping for the next one. Now you're starting to climb that hill. With all that being said, I hope that this talk today was meaningful and helpful for your leadership. Let's end with 3 takeaways. Number 1, for your next opportunity, write down a list of all the things that you are expected to be responsible for and creatively think about how you can go the extra mile and make it easier for the person who asked you to do it. Number 2, map out all the different ways that you can appropriately prepare for the opportunity and follow through. If it's role playing, if it's practicing, if it's writing things down, whatever it is that can best prepare you for that opportunity. And finally, number 3, take personal notes of feedback both from your perspective and the organizer who gave you the opportunity and get those reviews or referrals. All that being said, I hope that this was edifying for you today and that this made a difference in your leadership. If you'd like to connect more, one great way to do that is by ordering my new book. Feed My Sheep is one that I came out with on my birthday, and it's a 90-day devotional that is for spiritual growth. But I also shadow dropped another book. It's called Feed My Lambs. You like to play on words? And it's a curriculum that is a 6-month weekly lesson guide for children. And so this is ideal for somebody that is maybe a kids director, or maybe you need a kids director, someone to lead the kids. And it's a simple book that is full of lessons to be able to share to children about faith. And these are not just simple lessons about how Noah's Ark or historical knowledge of the Bible. These are Christian principles that are for growing the Christian faith for a child. And so I think that it'd really be a benefit for you if you have a kids ministry, but is also useful for anyone that's trying to teach their kids Christian principles at home. A little weekly Sunday class for your family, or for any homeschool moms, it might be a perfect gift if you know any of them. So all that being said, you can order on Amazon or my website. But until next time, have a great life. Well, there you have it. I hope that this episode was meaningful and edifying for your leadership and your growth within your ministry and organization. Could you do me a favor? Could you leave a rating and review for this podcast? It'd really help me out and help others be able to see this show in their feed. You can also visit homerhargrove.com to be able to learn more, connect, or become one of our supporters. Until next time, have a great life.